you're ready to get started. For those of you who have not joined us here before, I welcome you along, and I hope that you find these webinars positive and a movement towards the better understanding of people with disability and impairment. First off, we will do an acknowledgement of country. 30-foot drop acknowledges the traditional owners of land throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to the land, the waters and the community. We pay our respects to the Indigenous people, both the elders past and present. 30-foot drop funding. 30-foot drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities Disability Services for funding this event and many other initiatives. Without their help, so many projects such as Two Wise Monkeys wouldn't see the light of day, and we'd be much more poorer for it as a community. So we thank them very much. This workshop is part of a Realities and Advantages of an Access and Inclusion Grant awarded to 30-foot drop as part of an Information Linkages and Capacity Building Grant awarded to us for 2018 and 2019's grants. Now I'll just go over some housekeeping, which we normally go through with every webinar, how it all works and where to get your resources and stuff like that from. Unfortunately, we do not have all of the resources to monitor all of the platforms. So what that means is if you're watching from Facebook or a YouTube platform, you won't be able to send me a live message, but you can send a live message if you're watching it through our website. So the website is the link just below my video, which is www.30footdrop.com.au/live. So you can jump on there if you have any questions along the way. We'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time, so we ask attendees if they can try and minimise any distractions. Now, that includes myself. My children are at home with me tonight. I'm doing it from home, so I know it's a bit hard right now to minimise all distractions, but we'll just do as best we can. Please make sure that if you mention 30-foot drop or our Two Wise Monkeys workshops, could you please tag us? The more information we can get out there, the better, and we'd love to be involved in your tags. And as well, if you know anyone that might be interested in any of our webinars, please let them know and share our information with them. Sorry, just had something wrong there. Share our information with them. We'll also be recording this session, so if you wanted to go back on anything or rewind it, you are welcome to do that. You won't be able to rewind it until I hit the end button though. And all of the research spoken about tonight is all available on the website, which is that link below, the 30-foot drop link. So if you want to look further into anything, you can head over there. And we've got all the research and findings in our website resources department. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I am Lisa and I am one of the Two Wise Monkeys. I am Hear No Evil. So through me you will hopefully leave tonight hearing, speaking, nor seeing no evil about impairment. Through me you will realise that impairment or not, we are all human and deserve to be treated with the same respect as anyone else. My disability or impairment is more of a hidden one. I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia at the age of 8 years old. Teachers used to hit me on the head, yell at me, make me feel completely dumb and unworthy in my class because I had dyslexia. This was obviously before I knew. But, you know, it's awful to go through that, but don't let those teachers or people like that stop you from being who you want to be, because we all have things that we're good at. It doesn't matter that you're not an amazing speller or an amazing mathematician, because you will have something within you that will get you on the right path. And my path was to be more creative. So at the age of 13, I discovered that I was, pretty good at drawing, and my classmates weren't as good, or painting or photography, things like that. So I walked away from school, passing school. The English and maths, I had to try really hard, but I still passed. And then for art and photography, I got like 97% or something. So it just shows that there is something that you will be good at. It's just a matter of finding it and sticking at it and going with it. My creative art has taken me all around the world. I have an arts diploma. I have a diploma in working with fine art materials and framing fine artwork. I've worked all around the world. I've had my own exhibitions. I've sold my own artwork and photography. So it just shows you can do it. Just have faith in yourself and your path will happen for you. Now the other monkey is Ben, and he is see no evil. His impairment is more of a obvious one than mine. Through his accident, after landing him with a disability, he realised that not many people are aware of how things are affecting people with disability and impairment. No one really knows enough about what they need and how they need to be treated, and that we are no different to anyone else. So he is the brains behind these projects, and together we're hoping to do amazing things for the community, but we also need your help. So welcome. Now, isn't there normally 3 wise monkeys? You guys can now take a guess as to who the third monkey might be. Who is Speak No Evil? Yep, you guessed it, it's you guys. So the aim of today's workshop is to turn you into that wise monkey. You'll begin on a journey of realising that impairment or not, we do all deserve to be treated with the same respect as anyone else. And we deserve it. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly, and there's no reason why someone should be treated differently because of the way that they look or because of a disability or impairment. And if you really did want to become that third wise monkey, Speak No Evil, as you can see behind me, we have beautiful t-shirts for sale. They are available on our website in the shop. Just head over to the shop and you can choose either black or white, and they start from size 5 kid size to size 5XL adult size. So grab one of those if you like. They are really awesome, and I often get stopped and asked where I've gotten it from. Okay, now how are we going to get you started? Outline and method. How are we going to get you started on the path of a wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with impairment and disability and how to employ these amazing people into your business. First up, we're going to look at the disability employment service providers. What are they and how they can help your business? After that, we will go through 5 tips on how you can prepare your business to employ people with a disability or impairment. To finish up, we will have an open forum where we can ask questions and talk about the questions that have been asked. But like I said before, if you do have any questions along the way, please just head over to the link below this video. So, how are we going to cover this? What will our teaching method be? And the answer is always fun, open and honest discussion. If we can't be open and honest about disability and impairment, then things are not going to change. You can't keep it hidden inside and not talk about it. It needs to be talked about. We need to know more, and we need to know how to help these people find jobs, feel included, feel like they can access your business or service. And this is what our workshops are about. You'll notice that there's very little written content on the slides, and that is because we are all here to interact with each other. We don't want you having to try and keep up with all this wording on the computer. So we don't believe in death by PowerPoint, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. But it also makes it easy for people with an impairment to follow. It's nice, easy pictures. It's not confusing. It's just nice and simple. So people with vision, hearing impairments can all follow our pages. But if you do have a hearing impairment, available on Facebook now, we have subtitles. So if you couldn't hear very well, just turn the volume down on Facebook on your phone or your iPad, and you will then get subtitles. So that's great that Facebook have done that. It's just awesome. Let's now go over the terminology and review of a few words that quite often people get mixed up. First is disability and impairment, and then the next two are access and inclusion. First, we will talk about impairment. An impairment, what is it? It's an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss of difference in psychological and physiological function. In short, your impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical diagnosis is that I have mild dyslexia. A disability. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level with others due to social and environmental barriers. It is, as the word implies, something that makes you unable to access something. So an example for someone with a learning disability, dyslexia, or something like that: too much wording, too much complex information, and sometimes stylized script can make it hard for people with dyslexia or learning disorders to understand and get the right information that they need to use your business or service. So this information is really important to know because some people's impairments are hidden like mine. Not many people know about my impairment until today. So, you could have a website that is a little bit complicated, and without knowing that you've got people looking at it that may have a hidden impairment are not getting the right information from your website. So definitely something to think about and look at changing if you do feel it could be a bit complicated. Now, the next is the difference between access and inclusion. And by running our workshops, we run them live as well with businesses. And so many people get access and inclusion mixed up, thinking it means the same thing. But in fact, it's quite different. Access refers to the removal or reduction of physical barriers to participate in activities and functions of a community. At its core, access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and can be checked with a checklist. So if you've got a cafe, you own a cafe or a business, and you're unsure whether it is actually accessible for someone with a disability, hop onto our website, which is the 30-foot drop link below there. And we've got an accessibility checklist. So go over that checklist and see whether your door frames are actually wide enough, whether someone in a wheelchair or mobility scooter can actually get in the door and up the step. And if you do have a little step there, you might need to put a little ramp there. Make sure that door handles are at a reach for everyone, especially people with short stature or that are in a mobility scooter. There's lots of things to check, and it's not actually checked when the building is built or when you're having to move into it. It's kind of forgotten about, which is a bit sad. So it's really, really important that we all start checking these things to make sure that people are included. And that is our next thing that we will discuss, which is inclusion. People need to be feel like they are included. So inclusion is more of a psychological state of being and is the process hereby every person, irrespective of their age, gender, disability, sexual preference or religion, who wishes to can participate fully in all aspects of a business, service and activity in the same way as every other human in the community. Inclusion is making sure that everyone is involved and everyone is included. So it shouldn't matter, like I said before, what someone looks like. It shouldn't matter that someone's got a disability. You need to make sure that your business and service is inclusive. Those people feel welcome to coming into your business. And that is what inclusive means. Being inclusive. Right, if there's any questions, please jump on to the link below the video and ask anything you like. Next is getting into it. Disability services. Who are they and how do they work? Disability employment services are services that help people with a disability find work and keep a job. Providers of disability employment services are called DES providers for short. Through DES providers, people with a disability, injury or health condition may be able to receive assistance to prepare for, find and keep a job. How awesome is this? And how many people sitting there didn't even know that they exist? You do today. DES providers are a mix of large, medium and small for-profit and non-for-profit organisations that are experienced in supporting people with disability and impairment, as well as aiding the employers that they work for, and to help put in place practices that support the employee in the workplace. So if you are sitting there and you're watching this and you are having trouble finding a job, then please find out who your local DES provider is. And if you're wanting to know of any DES providers in your local area, head over to our website. We've got all the information there on DES providers. You are not alone in this. Definitely lots of people out there willing to help people with disability and impairment. It's just a matter of finding the right fit. Okay, how DES providers are funded. They are funded by the government. Providers receive payments for helping participants find and maintain work. Payments are structured so providers earn more funding when they place more people into lasting employment. This acts as an amazing incentive to make sure that they make the best possible matches. And matches, let's head into now job matching. How do DES providers make sure that they find the right match? It's all about understanding both parties' needs. And the provider is the link between the two. DES providers will help and find the job seekers' career histories, barriers and work with those. They help the employee by exploring their qualities and capabilities. They also get the candidates job ready through work experience, training and volunteering, making sure that the candidate is as job ready as they can be. Okay, how do DES providers help the business side? The DES providers will help the employee and the employer understand the employer's business needs, describe and discuss the business dynamics, and create a suitable role. Once the employer and the employee fully understand both sides, then they match them with a job which is within their capabilities and suit both parties' needs. Now you ask, where do the clients come from? These candidates are not forced into employment. So in saying this, you haven't got someone that doesn't want to be there. They are already actively looking for a job through their DES provider. And they come to the DES provider in a number of ways, which are through word of mouth, through self-referral following a discussion with a family or friend, self-referral after an exposure to advertising or social media platforms, referral from a health professional, community agency, self-determining move from another provider, community talks, community help desks and pop-up shops, discussions with health and community agencies, employment forums and expos, and of course us, two wise monkeys. So they're being told about the DES providers through so many ways, and this means that there must be so many people waiting there at the DES providers looking for jobs. So if you are thinking you might have a position for someone, then please contact your DES provider. Now, we will talk about role creation and job carving. What is this? This is aimed at improving businesses' efficiency, finding tasks and duties that can be fulfilled by someone less qualified. And it means that you can allow the more qualified people to carry on being more productive within your business. So let's just explain that a bit more. So here's an example of role creation and how you could do it within your business. So say there are 4 mechanics employed at a workshop. They spend the last 30 minutes of each day cleaning up the workshop. During this time, they are not creating profit for your business and costing a total of 2 hours wages per day. Employing someone to come in for 2 hours a day at a lower rate will allow the mechanics to continue generating profit and will also create an amazing position for someone that is really, really wanting that job. So it's a win-win situation, if you ask me. You know, these mechanics or whatever other job creation you can figure out within your workplace, these mechanics can carry on till 5 o'clock in the evening, while that other person that's coming from the DES provider can do the cleaning, and they're both walking away with a wage, which is really cool. How amazing would it feel to be a business owner, to be able to offer that to someone? Next, we will be talking about the support, so how the DES providers support both parties. As well as job matching and role creation, DES providers also offer the following 2 free services, which are candidate support and application assistance. Let's go over these 2. Candidate support is the first one. DES providers support their candidates in the role by on and off regular site visits, where they ensure the candidate continues understanding the employer's expectations and needs. They look for any requirements for assistive technology for both parties. They also monitor the developing requirements to maintain performance and deal with any questions or queries swiftly. And most DES provider consultants will be contactable for the employee and the employer after hours, which is really, really important. Application support. DES providers will provide free assistance with the following applications. These are wage subsidies, workplace modifications, and both these subsidy sources were covered in Tapping In Part 1. So if you did miss Tapping In Part 1, please book into the next one. That should be on in another week or so. Or if you are really wanting to watch it, I did it yesterday, so you can find it on any of the platforms and re-watch the one that we did yesterday. But if you're wanting to do the live one, head over and book into that. Okay, so how to get started. How do you go about employing that person? Get in touch with your local DES provider in your town or region. Provide them with the required information and then employ a matched candidate. Okay, the DES provider will gather the required information, fill out the paperwork, bonus, and all the requirements to proceed with the employment. And how stressful would it be, how less stressful would it be knowing that you don't actually have to fill out the paperwork? I know that would put a lot of employers off, oh, that's just another thing I have to deal with. Oh, I don't want to fill out a 10-page thing. You know, the DES provider is offering to do that for you. So the stress is taken off you, and they're going to find you the right person for the job, because they get paid and you get paid with a longer lasting, by employing someone that's going to be longer lasting. Okay, preparing your business. So now that you have committed, there are 5 tips to ensure that your employees reach their full potential. And these are candidate support, awareness training, accessibility, induction and mentoring, and post-placement support. Now let's go over candidate selection. How are they selected? As with all hiring, it's important to get the right match. A person's disability may be quite irrelevant to the kind of work required, which means that people with a disability are employed all across the board. Using a DES provider will give you access to a far wider range of people and pool, and along with objective and relevant advice when making your decision. Using a DES provider, read that part. Okay, disability and awareness training. Many people are apprehensive about dealing with a new team member that is living with a disability. Conducting targeted training for your staff can address these questions and help people be confident with working with their new colleague. This promotes positive attitudes and teamwork and ensures everyone is treated equally. Accessibility. And funding is available through Job Access with any of the funding is available through awareness for awareness training through Job Access. Right, accessibility. Where am I going? Okay, preparing the workplace so that it is accessible will allow the employee to do their job and help with a smooth onboarding process, making sure that the person with the disability is involved in every step of the way, because they will know how best it works for them. Their needs will depend on the employee's disability or health condition. Funding is available for any workplace modifications through Job Access, and other considerations may include changes to rosters and work practices. So someone with a disability may have a carer, and it could take them a few hours to get ready in the morning, which may mean that they're not going to be able to make it to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. So think about changing work times, maybe possibly getting them to start a bit later and working later. Just work around what's going to suit both of you. Just all to take into consideration. Okay, number 4, induction and mentoring. Your new employee should receive an induction relevant workplace training and ongoing support through a designated buddy or mentor, especially in the early stages of employment, which is very important. Think about any reasonable adjustments beforehand that may be necessary to make the induction and intake process mutually more rewarding as possible. So that's just like any other job, just like anyone else, you're starting a new job and you normally have someone that is with you for a couple of weeks training you on the ropes of the new job, and this is how we do this and this is how we do that. It's just as important, of course, for someone with a disability or impairment. Okay, post-placement consultant. This is the last one for tonight. If your new employee is connected with a DES provider, then they will have a consultant allocated to provide post-placement support completely free of charge. In addition to supporting the employee, the consultant is also intended as a go-to person with any questions or concerns. And that is for you as a business owner and for the employee. Use a consultant as a free resource to you and your team to ensure things run as smoothly as possible in the first few months of the role especially. The DES provider wants to make this placement work and to be as successful as possible. So you as a business owner are not going to be left alone. That person, that DES provider, is always going to be contactable if you've got any issues along the way with your employee, or you're wanting to talk to them about something. Maybe there's a certain subject that you need to approach with your employee. You could contact the DES provider first because they will know how best to sort it out. So you're not left alone on trying to figure out the best way in dealing with things. That person is always going to be there to look after both of you with any questions that you have, and if there's any modifications that need doing, they will sort out the funds for it, and so that's through job access, the funds for modifications, but then the DES provider will sort out anything else that you need. So I hope that this webinar has made you want to go and ring that DES provider tomorrow and look for someone to come and work within your business. And it's just going to make someone's day. There's so many people out there waiting for your phone call. And I hope that if you're one of those people waiting for that phone call, I hope that you find the job that you are really, really wanting very soon. And the more we talk about this kind of stuff, the more people are going to be employed. So let's get the message out there. I hope you enjoyed tonight and that it made sense. If you have any questions, I'm going to be hitting the question button now for anyone that wants to ask any questions. But if you do have to go, you want to have dinner or put the kids to bed, you are of course welcome to go. So those of you that want to go, before you go, excuse me, could you please fill out the survey, give us some feedback. We would love some feedback. And if you did want to ask a question, stay on the line and I will be back in a few minutes. Thank you for joining me tonight for webinar part 2. We will be doing webinar part 3 on Tuesday next week, the 19th of May. So head over and have a look at that. Now, next week we talk about the stats and the Australian population, how many people are affected by disability and impairment. So please join us for that, or send anyone that you know over to us to join us. Okay, let's hit the question button, and I will see you guys soon. Inclusion grants awarded to 30-foot. Welcome back, everyone. It appears there's no questions tonight. That is totally fine. I hope you enjoyed tonight, and I look forward to seeing some of you that are going to join us next week for tapping in part 3. Have an amazing weekend, and I hope that some of you or most of us are able to venture out of the house a bit more now. Thank you for joining me though, and I will see you next week. See you later.